You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you might not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. Pop over to Progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with discounts that are easy to come by. In fact, 99% of their auto customers earn at least one discount. Visit Progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary.
Every day as a small business owner feels like solving a puzzle. One moment you're cruising along, and the next, there's a shipping snag that has you scrambling. But here's a surprise you will like. With Progressive, small business owners save 13% on their commercial auto insurance when they pay in full. So go ahead, surprise yourself. Get a quote in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Hello, dear listeners. Welcome back to Queer Gals Watch the West Wing.
Yes, and today, Fee, we are talking about Season 4, Episode 21, Life on Mars. And I think we should get straight into it with very little preamble, because I think we both have a new favourite ever episode of The West Wing.
And I understand that that's a big caveat, but I am kind of really living for the moment. And so in my head, I've forgotten every other episode from seasons 1, 2, and 3. And just for myself, I'm like, now Life on Mars is my favourite episode. I think it's definitely it's got to be in the top 5.
Yeah.
Now, what I would love to preface that with is I'm not including like finale episodes in this. Do you know what I mean? Like part 1, part 2 is, I think those sort of sit in their own category.
Mm-hmm. They are essentially feature films.
For sure. Their own sort of storytelling. But in terms of like the kind of comfort episodes of like, it's a rainy, dark winter evening. I've looked at my DVD box set. I've gone, I think I'm going to be reaching for season 4. I'm going to be putting episode 21 on, just like out of sync with everything, just popping it on.
Wow. So damning for Hoynes that we're viewing his political downfall as a comfort view.
I can't wait to talk about this. So first off, Joe Quincey's in my thumbnail on my DVD menu. I am ready, and I'm raring to go, baby. Also, Bowie song as an ep title. I'm sold off the bat.
It didn't even clock that, but feels very Sorkin-esque.
Also, we know that Jed loves space.
So true.
He could have been an astronaut if he wasn't claustrophobic.
He's basically Galileo, as we know.
Yes. Leigh, I'd love for you to admit what happened when you tried to watch this episode. I think it's the funniest thing.
I was like, whoa, jump scare, Mandy in the previously on. And then I realized I'd hit play on season 1, episode 21, not season 4. I was like, wow, we're really dredging up a lot here.
All of this Mandyland chat everyone was going on about, we'll never see her again. And wow, at the end of season 4, who did Aaron bring back but
Apparently
Mandy?
We're circling back to Laurie. And Sam's not even here.
Oh, so good. But when you did get to the season 4, episode 21 previously on, you were hit with the kind of villain origin story of John Hoynes, I feel the previously on was giving.
A touch of Hoynes was definitely happening. It was very intriguing. It was very film noir in a way.
And in that energy, we open this episode. It's 5:58 a.m. on a Tuesday, and Charlie Young is just smouldering in the rain.
He has absolutely no right to look that sharp at 5:58 in the morning as, at this point, what, a 22-year-old man?
He's just a very handsome man.
Oh.
And that, the thing is, that just needs to be shared with the people.
Also, Fee, we have a storm.
We know that Aaron loves a storm. We know this.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I think when the scripts go out, and the creative team, like the sound design folks and the lighting folks are like, storm, stunning, excellent. We're going to need the storm kit, guys. And who's this pulling up to the White House? But just a regular taxi cab.
Just a taxi cab
I didn't know
Pave
you could do
Paradise
that.
put up a parking lot. Am I right? It felt crazy.
I didn't know you could just like take a taxi to the front door.
Neither did I. And then I was like, have I made up that that's crazy? It at least felt like something that we'd not seen before.
No, woman gets out in the rain of taxi cab.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, wow, this is really intense. Charlie's like, good morning. And they start walking down a corridor. I was like, someone is dead.
The intensity with which every single character greeted us in this episode was, with no context, quite funny, actually, in the initial sense. I will say we are introduced to this woman who Charlie is greeting in the most serious way possible as Claire Huddle, which begins a theme of extremely Sorkin names through the episode.
He's off his rocker at this point with the kind of names.
He's verging on the magical world that we will not discuss because of the transphobic author that created it at this point. But also...
But everyone's very sort of tense and moody and dark, right?
CJ is very moody. It feels like we're in like some kind of Swedish art house film. Everyone's staring very intensely through indoor windows. It feels like Claire is very significant, potentially an omen of death. The music is extremely somber. Josh also gets his own huge dramatic stare moment.
He like follows Claire like through the length of a corridor, but like looking at her through a window. It's very intense, and I'm like, who is dead? We go straight into the Oval where Jed's like, he says something to Charlie. He's like, oh, it turns out this is, or is Leo there? He's like, turns out this has to go to the Secretary of State. And I was like, why do we need the Secretary of State? This is so intense.
Which I should have clocked from that moment what was happening for reasons we'll get into.
I feel like such an idiot. And then Jed's like, why did you take a cab? And Claire Huddle has her I carried a watermelon moment where she goes, my car wouldn't start. And he's like, excuse me? And she's like, my car wouldn't start. Speak up. You're speaking to the leader of the free world.
What's in the envelope?
What's in the envelope, Claire? Jed opens the envelope. And what does it say, Lee Douglas?
Hoynes has resigned from the office of the vice presidency. It's huge. It's major. It's a gag. It's the biggest gag of the season thus far.
Wasn't even on the roster of things I thought might happen in terms of like Aaron being like, see ya, mic drop. I didn't think we'd be losing Hoynes.
No. I was actually so excited for a Hoynes plot line. My boy, my man, my guy, he has returned. My fave little stone cold psycho.
The thing is, we know that Hoynes doesn't do things by half.
No.
I delivered you the South.
Welcome to the NFL.
He's like, the thing is, he's always going to put his full pussy into something. And I am about that energy for the kind of ramping up at the end of the season. And I'm like, if my boy's going out, he's going to go out swinging.
He's going to go out in flames.
I wrote down, and I used bold for the first time ever in the shared doc to kind of emphasize. I was like, okay, because I'm thinking drama. I'm thinking Hoynes has had an affair with Claire. Or she's like a whistleblower of some kind.
Yes.
That was before the kind of envelope was opened and it said Hoynes has resigned. And then I was like, I don't know why Claire would have that. What is the sort of like significance of Claire? We're putting a lot of energy into Claire when she may just actually be a messenger.
Actually is kind of just a warm body in many ways. God love her.
God love her. And that makes sense when it says that Hoynes has resigned. I'm like, oh, well, that would be why we would need to talk to the Secretary of State.
Yes. But we love a flashback bookend episode. We love.
Because we travel back in time. 24 hours earlier.
Now, something significant is going on here. Someone has queer eye for the straight guide, CJ Cregg's wardrobe, by which I do mean the original cast.
Yes.
The outfit, the stripy shirt is very of that moment. It has Carson Kressley written all over it.
Yeah, it's an odd look for CJ. She's wearing a hideous necklace.
Another classic necklace for fashion prison.
Straight
How
to
would
jail.
we even describe it? It's kind of a brown square beads.
Yeah, it's what I'd say is it's sort of like a loose choker of sorts, a multi-layered bead, like a tiered bead loose choker. It kind of clashes really badly with the striped shirt. It's sort of brown colours. It, for me, unfortunately, feels like slightly connected to some might say like a sort of Egyptian jewellery vibe.
But so watered down to the point where it's kind of lost any authenticity in terms of design. It feels akin to a necklace one might make at the age of 11 or 12 at a jewellery making birthday party.
Yes, it's a resin bead. It's not a heavy glass bead. It's not even a jewel. It's just a resin bead. And I think for that, straight to jail. The other bizarre thing that CJ Cregg is doing what I'm going to discuss as a broad New York accent.
Yes.
You got to do what you got to do. She says this about 3 times. And the thing that I like is the press corps at no point is like, what are you doing? They're sort of like, oh, I guess CJ's kind of like having a morning of it.
I think
You got to do what you got to do.
the answer
You got to do
here
what you got to
is
do.
that the press corps is being a little annoying, and CJ's strategy with the press corps being a little annoying this morning is she's just going to out-weird them.
I have to respect that, actually. I do have to respect that. We get pulled aside by a particular journalist and a science man, and this journalist's like, hey, science man got from a source that actually a NASA commission has been kind of kept from the public eye about there being water on a meteor that landed that has come from Mars. So essentially, life on Mars.
Crucial.
Like the title. Very funny. CJ's obviously like, this is hilarious, and I must take it to the new counselor on the White House Counsel Office, Joe Quincey, as like his fun first day
Side quest hazing activity, but
like olives in the pocket equivalent, you know?
The llama in the office, if you will. But I did feel that it was going to be, in fact, a massive problem.
Oh, 100%. It's a classic, like, oh, here's a nothing storyline. This won't affect our day in the West Wing. You're like, well, it will. It's going to take over your entire day.
You're not getting Matthew Perry for a few episodes of The West Wing for like a silly side quest character.
You're not getting Chandler Bing in for a multi-episode arc for some fluff?
No.
Please.
No. He's not an earnest Republican for nothing.
Oh, I love Joe Quincey. Should we go to Joe's office, which isn't, in fact, the office that Ainsley vacated? It is. We are back to the pipe room.
Yes. A different pipe room, though. It feels more spacious.
I think they probably destroyed the pipe room set and then kind of rebuilt it, but it wasn't quite the same.
And then I'm sorry. I do need to discuss what happens next, because we meet, Aaron, please be serious. We meet Blair Spoonhour. Aaron, please.
Blair
Aaron,
Spoonhour.
please rest. Please rest. I don't know where you're getting these names, but in an unrelated note, I am thinking about adopting kittens and naming them Blair Spoonhour and Elsie Snuffin.
I could not agree with you more in that plan. In fact, I'll come with you.
Yeah. And the most important thing about Blair Spoonhour is that she is, in fact, Ms. Welcome Home of Independence Day fame.
Our queen. I love this character. And I think we talked about her. We did a movie special on Independence Day.
Yeah.
And she's another dancer at the same club as Jasmine, who is Will Smith's love interest in the film. And she just goes to the top of a building in LA and just like opens this big poster that says welcome home, and then just gets immediately vaporized. And we love and adore her. And I am absolutely thrilled that she is in the West Wing. I hope to see more of Blair and her gorgeous red hair. The first interaction she has with Joe is him going, "What are you, 14?
Thank you, no, I'm 22.
And I enjoy the thank you. No, I'm 22. I think that's very good. And then there's like quite a lot of kind of like pithy back and forths between Joe and Blair, which is very enjoyable.
Yes, calling someone law school is very Jack Burger coded, the boyfriend of Carrie Bradshaw's in Sex and the City who famously broke up with her via Post-it note.
It's such a specific character.
Mhm.
Like I do think everyone in their own way has dated a Jack Berger in their life.
Yes. It's someone who refers to you exclusively by your surname.
Yeah. It would be
Or
like
King Will.
yeah. Please. The English accent from very jarring. I would say that like Jessie from Gilmore Girls is Jack Berger coded.
Yes, agreed.
Because you're like, it's so close to working, but it's never going to work.
Yeah. Also, the boys in my younger years who would like to joke and jest with me, calling me Dougie. It's a similar vibe. It's like,
Yes, yeah.
My name is Leigh. I'm a woman. Thank you.
Okay, law school. I don't hate it though.
No.
I mean, I think if anyone can get away with it, it's Matthew Perry.
Mm-hmm.
Because as Joe Quincey, very, very attractive.
Exudes safe flirtation.
Truly. And let's discuss this more upon the entrance of CJ Cregg.
That's a great outfit, Blair.
As your opening line,
Yeah.
not even addressing the person whose office it is, that's quite frankly boss behavior.
But also signals the kindness and like authenticity of CJ Cregg that she immediately knows the name of like a very lower level person in the White House counsel's office. And she's here to haze someone who is like several levels above the woman who she's being like fun with.
Immediately into, this is a cool office, Joe.
I'm not sure that my heart can take Alice and Janney flirting with Matthew Perry. Just like those two individuals in a time in history being in a scene together.
This scene and the subsequent walk and talk is so good because these two actors have been given really, really fantastic dialogue that so suits their like personal rhythms of delivery. And I think that I hope that they had like a really fun day filming together.
I hope they hooked up. I really hope they hooked up.
I mean, I hope they did too. Their chemistry is really fantastic.
Yeah.
And like you say, it's not Danny Concannon energy of like, this is actually kind of about sex. It's very like, we're intellectual equals, but as CJ says, Joe, I outrank you by like 17 rungs, so follow me, would you?
I am aroused.
Like if CJ Cregg turned to me and was like, I am so much more powerful than you, follow me, I would crawl on my hands and knees.
I would go over the top. I would.
Stick a bayonet in the front of my gun. I am climbing over those trenches and I will make my way across no man's land, just following her slacks and her heels. Machine gun fired, mowing me down. Incidentally, one of the only periods of history we learn about in the British schooling system. Oh my God, like kiss.
Please,
kiss
just
each other
kiss.
on the mouth.
Yeah.
My God.
Well argued, though I hate you and everything you stand for.
Claudia Jean, you've only known me for 4 minutes. It usually takes people the better part of an hour to hate me and everything I stand for.
I'm the press secretary, boo-boo. I don't have that kind of time.
The boo-boo of it all.
That's what I call my cat.
I think also for him to go in for the Claudia Jean
Claudia Jean is so bold. It's so bold. But he read the room correctly because she didn't hate it.
No.
And it's because he knows it's on and they have the hots for each other. I can't.
I'm so thrilled we're getting more Joe Quincey, and it isn't just like him being shifty and confused and being like really, really badly interviewed by Josh.
It's like Ainsley Hayes and Sam Seaborn on steroids, but like without Sam Seaborn's awkwardness, which is like very endearing. But like these two, they just like know that they're hot and they have the hots for each other and it's on.
And actually, in a way, Joe Quincey is a perfect combo of Sam Seaborn and Ainsley Hayes. Like there's kind of level of like, whoa, you guys are kind of crazy around here. What's going on? And then like, hey, I've kind of been around the block. Bit of a cool guy. I'm into it.
Yeah, agreed.
Meanwhile, at 11 a.m., we find Toby and Will discussing a attack ad.
Yes. Toby and Will arguing about the emotional life of soccer moms as it relates to policy is, of course, very funny. I know that obviously at this time, the subject of the soccer mom was very large, looming large in the American consciousness. In fact, my own senator from Washington State basically ran her whole campaign being like, I'm just a soccer mom.
And people were like, I feel like I can trust her.
Yeah.
I feel like she knows what's going to be best for my kids. And vice versa.
Yeah, so it's very fun.
It's very fun. Essentially, the ad is like, being in a big car is important. because it keeps your family safe.
Yeah.
And do you know what? President Bartlett wants to make gas really expensive. Boo.
Yeah. Shout out Patty Murray. Love you, hun.
I think it says the president and a bunch of Hollywood types want to put your kid in a small car so they can save the sky.
That really pushes me to quite a dark emotional place. There's nothing wrong with small cars.
I find it very odd. Now, I know I come from like a tiny little toy country that's on an island where everything is really small and quaint, but you just don't need a big car. Like, we just made our roads smaller. You've just built really big roads, so you feel like you need really big cars. Just build smaller roads. It's really simple. Also, like, it's so much easier to park. You use less fuel. It's honestly not complicated. You go to Europe, go to Italy, and any small town, no one's driving a big car. They'll get 7 kids in there. Who needs a seatbelt? I'm joking. Obviously, always wear your seatbelt.
I will say being driven around by like a Spanish soccer mom on my study abroad was one of the most terrifying experiences of my life. They really don't care about dinging their car or denting it anyway.
If you have a small car, that's fine.
Yeah.
Just, get a little sucker on it and pull the dent out.
Yeah, 40 miles an hour down a teeny tiny alley in Valencia.
I rate it. The thing is, single track roads, that's what I grew up on. You just learn how to reverse. And if you've got a small car, it's easier. Anywho.
Well, get one, have an idea. Don't come in here with a half a thing and not be able to, after you've walked me to the brink and say that we've got to do this. It's important, though I have no unearthly idea how. Like one of those guys who buys a big new thing but doesn't really know how to get the most out of it.
Toby, either get Andy to marry you or kill yourself.
Yeah.
It's safe to say that Toby's not doing so well.
I think that Toby may have already been on the brink prior to Will walking into his office today.
I feel like Andy is close to giving birth at this point. And we're in a situation where it's like, yeah, but the crib will be at my place.
Yeah. Yes.
The babies will be at mine, and then like you can come and spend time with them. And he's like, well, obviously we'll be living together. And she'll be like, I don't know why we'd be living together. We're not together. And he's like, well, because we'll be married. And she's like, but we're not getting married. And I think it's kind of like he feels like he's running out of time to like lock her down. And I think that Andy, as she is growing 2 lives inside of her, which is a pretty fucking cool thing to do anyway, has never been more powerful and strong.
Yes.
And
agreed.
so it's like, well, it's gorgeous to have the upper hand. And I think I'll be kind of using that for all it's worth.
What? So the babies are just going to be at your house and you're going to be off with who? Like Joe Schmo? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Going out for dinner, I suppose, with someone else when I'm here looking after our children, not in our house.
And then this other guy is going to raise my children.
And stuff like that. Meanwhile, Andy will just be like sat there with like a pint of ice cream being like, just let him like a toddler, just let him cry himself out and then at some point he'll fall asleep. I'm going to go ahead and say from that interaction, Will and Toby are now confidently friends.
Yes. I think in order to be able to make like a KMS joke at someone, you really have to be close.
Definitely. And also like a your ex joke.
The combo is punchy.
Yeah, quite literally one in each hand. Hi, Donna.
Hey, lovely collar on you, Donna. Love you in a terracotta with a matching lip.
With a lovely like little loose cuff as well. Really beautiful touch to that blouse. There's a bird on the windowsill, like tapping on the glass of Josh's office, and Donna's kind of very like drawn into this bird storyline. I'm just gonna I've very recently moved to the middle of nowhere, and I'm just gonna say that Donna talking to this bird is kind of like my life right now, which is sort of trying to navigate situations with wild creatures, be that fowl or mammal.
Bovine.
It's real kind of, Dr. Doolittle minus being able to talk to animals situation here right now. You've just put pretty birdie.
Well, it is. It's an especially pretty bird.
It's a nice dove. So Joe has come to Donna in order to come to Josh to say, hey, I've got to take some things to Leo, but like, do I come to you first? Like, what's the protocol? It's my first day. Which I enjoyed because I feel like we didn't get that with Ainsley. We kind of just got like her and Sam kind of sassing each other.
Yeah. It's a fascinating insight into how things actually work. And it also shows him to be a very emotionally intelligent individual, to go like, I know I don't have to run things by you, but
putting the right foot forward, like not being presumptuous, I think is always a really good kind of vibe check.
yeah, like, would you prefer the heads up before I'm discussing something with your boss?
And Josh is like, basically, I'm going to ask you for like the byline, and then I can decide whether or not it's worth his time. But while Joe is waiting, Donna is discussing with Josh something else that has been leaked. Like, oh, so-and-so was talking about this thing, and they said they got it from the Post, the Washington Post, that like this particular thing had gone down on this agreement that they'd done. Josh immediately stressed,
which then immediately led me to, is Hoynes selling favors of some kind?
And I thought, oh, this is interesting. Like, is he burning it all down?
Yeah.
Like, is he like, I'm like, fuck this, I'm done. I never wanted to do a second term. This was supposed to be my term. I'm not doing it. I'm just going to fuck my life up. Because that would actually be very on brand for John Hoynes to be like, well, if I can't have it, then burn it down.
And also, I was wondering, like, are we touching like on an Al Gore moment of like, in the second half of your second term, I'm really going to start to break with you and kind of fuck things up for you to set myself up for my own presidential run next time round.
Very fun. So we go as a trio to Leo to discuss these kind of two stories. And on the way, fun moment where Donna's like, well, obviously like Joe would understand that because he is a lawyer. And like, you're not really a lawyer. You just went to law school.
I don't practice law. I write the laws. I write the laws. I make the laws. I am the law.
Which could possibly be the most man, I feel like a man line we've ever had.
I agree. Also, a lovely callback to the fact that he knows that Donna thinks that Joe Quincey is hot. And therefore Joe Quincey makes him feel insecure.
A little Josh squirm. Which we love to see him squirm.
Which also, it's like, Josh, you outrank Joe Quincey by so many levels. Why on earth is this man threatening you in any way?
Just ask Donna out if you like her that much.
God's sake.
God's sake. We bump into Margaret in red. Knockout, incredible, with a little navy strip detail around the collar and the cuffs. Stunning. As always.
She's a classy
Margaret
bitch.
in red. Margaret in red.
Yeah.
Put a redhead in red, honestly. My God. Margaret finally has been given something bonkers to say. She's just been very professional for a while, and I miss mental Margaret.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's like, oh, I'm so sorry about the political affairs girls covering your parking spot in mayonnaise. They didn't know you were a biscuit.
What do we mean by biscuit?
I think she means like you're cute as a biscuit.
Oh.
Like he's a little, I'd like to eat him up. I really like the idea of if someone looks cute, being like, wow, you're a biscuit.
I need more insight into Margaret's personal life. We've had no tidbits whatsoever of her dating life or anything.
All we know is that potentially there was a Ouija board incident. I like the idea of Margaret being like, Joe Quincey, if you want to buy me dinner,
yeah,
go ahead.
Please.
We're in with Leo. Leo's very busy. And we have this really impressive but stressful moment where essentially Joe has to step up and be like, cool. So these pieces of information have come to me today. I'm very aware it's my first day. I just want to say that the position that it's pointing me in is like quite a big situation. And like, should I keep digging? Like, what's the situation here? Like, what's the best thing to do? Which is, God, like, I mean...
Imagine your first day in the White House counsel's office and you're like, cool. So the first thing I have to do in my new job in the White House counsel's office as the one Republican around is to kind of single-handedly take down the vice president.
Is to like kind of do an investigation into him because I think he might be leaking information about the administration to the press.
The man who in this moment looks like the future of the Democratic Party.
Yeah. Like, he's the guy. He's going to have done 2 terms as vice president, and then he will be the pick. what a great concept for an episode. It's so good. And also, do you know what makes it better is that it's Joe Quincey. It's someone who's like not on the inside. It's not someone that we know. We can't read into this like anything personal. He's literally like, I'm just doing my job. This is so stressful.
Yeah.
It's 2 p.m. and we're pitching with the Laurens.
The Laurens, yay. This was such a TV development meeting. It was so funny. I was screaming. I was like,
I laughed out loud.
Why have I been in this meeting? Also, them like pitching jokes to each other. I was just like, this is almost too real of like, we need a sketch concept. Everything we're thinking of is deeply not going to be possible because it's either deeply offensive, just not funny, or all of the above.
And we're going to have to pitch this skit to Toby Ziegler. I'm really glad that the Laurens have remained Will's team. I think that's a really nice kind of way of maintaining that Will's like, although he has a really good rapport with CJ and with Toby and with Josh, he is still like the new face. And that there are like more long-standing members of staff who are still like, well, he was just given a handout. Do I miss Bonnie and co? Yes, I do. Would love to see Bonnie and Ginger. However, I do like that the Laurens didn't just like come in for an episode and then disappear.
Yes, and we have seen Bonnie and Ginger since the mass exodus from the communications departments. We know they're still there. But I also loved, we're in mind meld right now, Lauren number 2 and I.
Will is so funny. And I think it's because there's an earnestness to him and an unseriousness with that earnestness. I would like to work with Will.
Agreed.
Shall we to the boys?
The boys.
Just lunching together. Just Charlie and Toby on a lunch break. This scene is one of the reasons why this could be my favorite episode.
Yes, agreed.
I was
100%.
under the impression this was kind of like a sports boys lunch and that they decided to meet up together to watch the tennis and eat their lunch. Because Charlie's like monologuing, eating his sandwich, talking about Mrs. Wheelie and her clocks and the fact that she should write a book, not this woman who's been with this book deal. And then there's this perfect pause just for like a beat longer than is natural. And then Toby says, you said I wouldn't even know you were here. Just so you know, I can tell that you're here. Which leads me to believe that Charlie arrived unprompted at Toby's office and was like, can I eat lunch here? I won't bother you.
Yeah, I just want to watch the tennis.
And then proceeded to talk constantly. And then
because he's
like,
lost his lunch buddy. He doesn't have
I know.
Mrs. Landingham to have lunch.
And I feel like Debbie goes out for lunch.
I also feel like Charlie might need a break from Debbie at times in the most loving way.
I agree with love and respect to Debbie that I would probably need to step out for lunch as well. Charlie's like, are you eating a salad?
I'm eating a salad. I'm doing it. Do I have to know the names? There's no difference between them. It's a bowl of weeds. Some of them have cheese. This isn't the kind that has cheese. Does that answer your question? Which is also how I feel when I'm having a full day out of the house and my lunch is a salad.
I think referring to a salad as a bowl of weeds is one of the funniest things I've ever heard.
Yeah, agreed.
It's a bowl of weeds. You are right, Toby Ziegler. It is a bowl of weeds. And I think there's something very specific about a man of Toby's age eating a salad for lunch.
Crashing out whilst eating a salad because he's eating a salad.
The boy needs carbs. He needs at least a bread roll with that.
The number of people who make reference as a point of concern that Toby is having a salad for lunch today is so funny.
I think that like Toby's been either out with Andy or has like ordered takeout for the two of them. And she's just made a very small comment being like, you know, at your age, you should really think about your heart health.
I don't think it's that. I think it's that Toby either has a big birthday coming up and I think he's been for like an annual physical and his GP has just said like one tiny thing like, you know, your blood pressure is looking a little bit on the high side.
Your
And
cholesterol's a little,
yeah, you might want to cut back. And this has led Toby to a full mental breakdown that he's like going to be a slightly older dad.
Yes. Oh my God, you've nailed it. I'm already going to be the oldest dad picking them up at the kindergarten, and I'm also going to be some sort of fat loser as well. I'm going to keel over and die of a heart attack at 56. Meanwhile, Andy's like, I think you can calm down, and I think you can just eat dinner. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
The reason why Joe Quincey comes into this scene is that Toby has sent a memo that's meant for the Fourth Circuit, which says...
You said in this case that the Fourth Circuit lacked the judicial imagination God gave pistachio nuts.
Which is damning. And obviously, understandably, Joe Quincey's like, you can't send that to them. To which Toby, very dryly, because of the anger about the salad, is like, well, I wouldn't send that to them. I send it to CJ and then her office polish it up. So like, you can keep your nose out of my business.
I love the idea that this is because I don't think it's to send to the Fourth Circuit. I think this is like a press statement coming from the communications department about a decision that's been made. And I love the idea that Toby just sends exactly what he would want to say. He's sending the press team this absolute chaos that cannot go out. And therefore, he's creating a whole job for CJ's team of like, I want the energy to be pistachio nuts.
But we've got to take it in a place that is respectful, but also maintains a sense of wit. Charlie just looks deadpan at Joe and says, Toby's distracted by a woman and salads.
The sass of Charlie Young truly is perfect. Now, I will say, I am being goaded by the name Stu Winkle. It feels borderline homophobic.
Yeah, I mean, so the thing that we find out from Toby and from Charlie is that there's this particular woman called Helen. She's just got this huge book deal for like a tell-all book, which Charlie was rabbiting on at Toby about. And Joe's like, wait, a tell-all book? This is like linked. He's like, this is in the Washington Post. Okay. These three stories, these kind of three leak stories are all connected. And then he's like, who wrote this article? And Charlie says, oh, it's a gossip columnist called Stu Winkle. Now, I think if someone's going by Stu professionally and they're writing in a gossip column in 2002, we're writing this character as gay.
The surname Winkle?
Yeah, it's too much
the
for me. The
surname Winkle, Aaron?
Stu Winkle, gossip columnist.
And my worst fears will be confirmed as we carry on with the episode.
In the following scene. I'm going to take this moment just to say Matthew Perry is absolutely knocking it out of the park.
He's doing a lovely job.
Just a really lovely job. It's 5 p.m. We are in CJ's office. And
Fia is so cute. She's just put, this is such an exciting storyline.
I was having such a nice time. I was like, normally I like pause and rewind to make notes, but there was just bits that I was just pausing and rewinding just to watch them again. So we're in CJ's office and we're with Joe. And Joe's like, you need to call Stu Winkle and so stupid, and find out like who his source is, like push him for that. But pretend that you're calling him to like congratulate him on his new column. And
the man who answers the phone has the most egregious gay voice I've ever heard. The actor playing this role took a huge swing.
Huge swing.
I'm going to say my hope is that he's a member of the community.
I also hope that he's a member of the community.
Stu Winkle really took the surname Winkle and was like seen and heard.
Understood. So I'll be playing it as an extremely camp man. No, say less. Say less.
But also what I will say is he's written gay. So Aaron, you've written a gay character and you've given him the surname Winkle. I think an apology is owed to the LGBTQIA plus
community. Do not tell me you buy off the rack. I'll kill you.
It's basically a drag name.
The character is essentially a drag queen of sorts.
I will also say this also really sent me because we then have this extended period of like very intense, dramatic, meaningful, suspenseful looks between CJ and Joe Quincey. And God bless this actor. He is just monologuing on the phone. God love him for keeping this monologue going for this whole extended sequence of dramatic looks.
And also what he's saying is actually like really valid. It's so heartbreaking. It's like Joe's passing all of these like forms and like reports over to CJ showing that like there's a catalogue of calls between John Hoynes and Helen Bauman, and like essentially the jig is up. It's Hoynes is this leak, and like there's something going on personally between him and Helen. And meanwhile, underneath all of that is sweet Stu Winkle being like, so I freelanced my butt off and was like, he's like, and I've been working for 10 years in this game, and this gossip column is just a means to an end, and I'm going to get back into proper journalism.
It's just so classy for you to call me.
And like, he's like, oh, it means so much that you would call me. Like, it's really like reinforcing that like I'm doing the right thing and I'm not going to get there. And then CJ's like, thank you so much, Stu, and just hangs up on him. So justice for Stu Winkle. Justice for Stu.
I want a full spin-off show of Stu Winkle freelancing his butt off.
Yeah.
Trying to make it as a serious journalist.
What? Well, yeah. I mean, it's very fun in a way in terms of representation for him to be like, I've kind of got stuck with this gossip column because like of who I am. But that's not the sort of journalist I am. That's interesting.
But let Stu Winkle be a surprise. Don't name him Stu Winkle. Give him a serious name and then allow the funness of Stu Winkle to be magical without his surname being Winkle.
Yes, but then we also obviously have, what's her name? Spoon something.
Spoon Hour.
Yeah, Ms. Spoon Hour. So I think Aaron's just lost it now.
And lest we forget Claire Huddle from the start of the episode.
Sweet Claire Huddle, yeah, we'll be coming back to her. 7:45 p.m. and Hoynes is in his office being a big boy, doing lots of talking, and Claire's there.
Then I was like, oh my God, betrayal. Claire is going to betray him.
Yeah, I was like, whistleblower. She's a whistleblower. Mm-hmm. And then we work out that so he dismisses his team and essentially like Josh, CJ, Joe Quincey and Toby. Is Toby there?
Yes.
And Toby's
yeah,
there.
it's all four of them.
Come in and like, basically we know. And I was like, I knew it was an affair. I just thought it was with Claire, but it's with a different woman.
Mm-hmm. It's with the writer of the tell-all book. And then John Hoynes says the saddest thing I think I've ever heard out of a man's mouth. You are the second gentleman of the United States of America. And the reason that you give for giving state secrets to your extramarital girlfriend is that, quote, and I like to show off.
Oh,
I really had to sit with that one for a moment.
it's like a gut punch, isn't it?
It's so deeply, stomach-churningly tragic.
The whole conversation they have with him about knowing that he's having an affair is so... He's so caught out in it. Like, he knew it was going to break. He knew the story was going to break from the start. And it's just, he's so humiliated, but he's not angry. He's like, there's a sense of him being like, I knew I was going to get caught from the moment it started. And I kind of just want to give up now.
Yeah. He's so calm that I'm like, the storm is going to happen in the press. And then in 2 to 6 months, this man is going to have a breakdown.
Yeah.
Like, what
like he's so unaware that he's burnt his life down.
What a thing to say out loud. Like, I've destroyed my own life and my wife's life.
Yeah. And not only my political career, but the political careers of a lot of people.
Because I like to show off. Oh.
The way that Josh Lyman is looking at him, it's like seeing your hero unmasked.
Slow clap for Bradley Whitford. For honestly,
really
it was
incredible.
So devastating for Josh, because I honestly feel like I watched Joshua Lyman in this scene have the experience that millennials had as a generation once we realized that like hope and change was over when Obama left office. You know what I mean? It's like, because it's also the future of like, you know, Bartlett is not going to be president for much longer. And
this was the guy. We've been teeing him up now for almost 2 terms. Like, there's no one else ready.
There's no one else to champion Josh's career. Like, John Hoynes is the other major player that Josh has that kind of relationship with. Like, it's also the future of Josh's career potentially now disappearing.
Yeah, the way he's looking at him and like doesn't really say anything. He just like looks at this like fallen hero. The guy that he's like, I think Josh would have been quite confident that he would have been chief of staff for John Hoynes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they walk out, basically leaving John Hoynes there to be like, think about what you've done and kind of come and talk to the president in a bit.
And also like the way that there's like a tragic moment where John Hoynes is like, okay, what's the game plan? Like, how are we kind of managing this press-wise? And I think it's Toby, or is it Josh? Anyway, one of them says, I think what you need to do is call your family.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh.
Like, the first thing you need to do is tell your wife you've been having an affair and then explain to her that her entire life is going to change.
Yeah.
And then explain that to your kids.
Yeah.
And that's before you make a decision about what's going to happen.
Kids of undisclosed ages.
As they're walking out and leaving John there, it's the first like line that Josh says for a while, and they're walking down the corridor, and Josh just turns and like shoots this line over his shoulder at Joe Quincey. He's like, "I hope I didn't see you smile in there."
You didn't.
Yeah, and then CJ like jumps in really quickly and says, "Josh, you didn't." And obviously my immediate reaction was like, in what professional world, Josh, would anyone, Republican or elsewise, ever behave that way? It would have been entirely unprofessional. But it reinforced this performance that he was playing in the previous scene.
Yeah.
Of like this hurt and like heartbreak. And it's very Josh Lyman to like lash out and like be like, well, it's about this. You're like, it's not. You can probably go and maybe talk to someone about how betrayed you feel by John Hoynes' behavior.
I think it's Josh's first ever experience in life of feeling, I'm not angry, I'm disappointed.
Ooh.
I feel like anger has been his like first response always for his whole life. And he feels very comfortable with kind of popping off in that way. And this is his first experience in life of truly feeling disappointed by someone.
That's so on point, Leigh.
To the Laurens.
It's 8:30 p.m. The Laurens are still hard at work. We're still trying to come up with this ad idea. I cut away to this scene only because there are 2 things in here that I deem to be worthy of note. The first is that one of the Laurens mentions this.
Does anyone else think it's weird that Toby had a salad?
The fact that it's moved like wildfire through the West Wing is incredible. And this is the attention to detail that I love so much about Aaron Sorkin's writing, and I hope continues within the writer's room as we go onwards. And the second is Toby comes in and Will pitches him the 2 very poor ideas that they've come up with. And Will's like, the thing is, we've got to come back at this attack ad. Like, we're in the trenches, da, 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 da. And Toby just cuts him off and goes, we're not in the trenches.
Well, because think about the meeting that Toby has just come from.
It's because he's like, there are real issues. Like, this is not the war that you think it is. Like, running this country is so much more complicated than responding to an attack ad. And I think that we're not in the trenches in general is just truly sound advice for so many people. Like when you're in a workplace environment and someone's like, the thing is, like, if we don't get this by end of play, like, and you're like, nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
If this goes out at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, nothing will happen. There are some jobs where that is untrue.
Yeah. Thankfully, I don't have one of those jobs.
No. Thankfully, I think if we all just took a coffee break and then came back with fresh minds, I think that would be fine.
Yeah. Then there's also just like, Toby then has like the sexiest moment ever of being like, well, let me take you into this room and tell you what's about to happen. It's like, because it's like, we all have those moments in history where we remember where we were. And in Will's case, he's in the room where it happened.
Mm-hmm.
That's where he is when history unfolds. Anyway, sorry. Carry on.
As you can tell, Leigh and I were very excited about this episode, but we kind of close out this ep before we kind of return to the where we started with a truly rough scene between Jed, Hoynes and Leo.
Yeah.
47 phone calls. 47 phone calls from within the White House.
Yeah.
From his work phone.
There are
to this
two
woman.
things in this episode that are egregious, and they are Stu Winkle and Hoynes' use of his work phone.
To conduct an affair. Are you stupid? Are you actually stupid? Are you dumb? It's not. Why are you doing on your work phone?
You're the vice president of the United States. You can't tell me
Get
that you
a
don't have a
burner
cell
phone.
phone.
Get a burner cell phone. What are you doing? And you know when you're like, oh, this is your first affair. And actually, there's some really interesting things that happen in this scene.
Yes. So I will say Hoynes saying that his affair is none of Leo's business is so annoying. Like, honey, please, you gave up any right to privacy and dignity when you had an affair as the vice president of the United States. You can wait 2.5 years to bed this woman until you weren't vice president anymore.
You also noted something that I thought was really interesting as well.
Yes, very interesting. I'm so sorry that I said bed this woman. I apologize, Helen. But interesting.
To Helen, we wish her well.
We don't know Helen's story. I'd be interested to read the book.
I'm just going to raise a hand here, Leah, and circle back because I have a take on Helen for us to come to.
But interesting choice for this scene to happen in the colonnade and not in the Oval. It almost feels like it's not worthy of the dignity of the Oval.
Do you know what? It really perfectly ties into this kind of like concept of humiliation that Aaron has kind of found with Hoynes' downfall, which is, you know, Jed's like sat on one of the stone benches.
Yeah.
And then like he like gets up and moves around and Leo's just stood there with his arms crossed. It's like they're in the dugout at a baseball game.
Yes.
Being like, why did you make that play?
But also, I think the crucial difference is like in the Oval, they would truly be having a private conversation. But in the colonnade, resident staff could walk by at any point. As we've discussed the resident staff earlier in the episode from Charlie. Also, like the Secret Service will be within earshot. Like it's in a semi-public place.
Yeah.
And then just absolutely damning from Jed. If you would give us your Jed fee.
Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Vice President, if my multiple sclerosis was a bummer for your sex life. How the hell did you do this to us? Really good, because he's like, oh, you know, we would have maybe been able to work through this, because he's like, oh, I'm going to resign. And Leo's like, let's not be hasty. Let's like come up with a plan and we can strategize this. And Hoynes is like, no, I'm just going to resign because like Jed's already like kind of taken all of our good grace by having MS. You're like, Jesus Christ. Like, honestly, Hoynes being a quitter, complete sense to me. Like, actually, it's a really phenomenal way to kind of follow through his character and the way it's been set up. And that is why he will never be president of the United States.
Yeah.
Because actually, he can't hack that job. The rumble of thunder that follows that line from Jed. This show is amazing. Chef's kiss.
But then I come to my ultimate takeaway from this scene, which is twofold. First of all, I hope Suzanne gave him hell.
Oh, I hope Suzanne is like,
I hope she gave him hell.
I hope she takes the dog.
Truly.
Because there will be some sort of Irish setter of some kind or kind of like retriever of some sort in the Hoynes household.
And I'm going to say I hope his kids are young. So that, you know, he actually has lost out on some major years, potentially.
Wow.
Justice for John's girlfriend, Helen. You know what? Get your bag, honey. We're really talking about her in a very disparaging way. And I kind of feel like, Lord knows.
Six-figure book deal.
Get your cash. Get your bag.
You know, and this is where I come to my take on Helen, because the way that Hoynes is talking about the situation and then the way that Leo and Jed are insinuating things. And Leo, later on, he says this line, he says, "You're a giant, John." And he kind of carries on talking. And the kind of final line is, "You can't be taken down by this cheap person." And well, Leigh, stay with me on this. I don't think we're saying like, because, you know, a woman who would get involved with a married man is like a cheap woman. No, I think Leo's saying, because you got hoodwinked. She played you. I think Helen played him from the start. I think she met John Hoynes, and I think she was like, there is a man who has a fragile sense of masculinity because he wanted to be president and he's not president yet. And I think she played him like an absolute fiddle. And I think she knew that he liked to show off, and I think she pushed him for information. He sang like a bird, and then she took it. She got the book deal. He didn't say that she left him. She's got this book deal, and she started leaking to the press knowing that this will happen. She never loved him. She never wanted to be with him. And I think Leo is like, you are a strong and intelligent man, and you have allowed yourself to be got. And that is the real story here. It's not that you had an affair. It's that you fell for a trick.
That makes it so much more humiliating if she never even loved him.
I think that's why he crumbles. And he's like, I'm going to resign. Like, I don't want to put my family through this. That's not a man who's like, the thing is, I love her. You know, I should have left Suzanne. And I should have done that before I started anything with Helen. The fact that he's like, it's over, it's because he knew he was just trying to be the big man and that she's played him for a fool. For an absolute fool. And the thing is that you can't get back. Obviously, a president who's had an extramarital affair, I don't think could ever lead America because of family values. But I think what Hoynes is saying is like, I have been made to be an idiot. I can't do this job because I got fooled by a journalist. And worst of all, it was about sex as well.
I mean, famously, Bill Clinton got elected even after there was more than rumblings.
Yeah, wowzers. And I mean, I say that you can't kind of be president when there's any sort of scandals about sex, but that's clearly untrue.
Given our current situation, the Access Hollywood tape, to be specific. And that was, you know, before the first time.
So I that's my take on the Helen debacle.
Yeah.
I think she's a fucking smart woman, and I think she knew what she was doing from day one. And I think she was making sure she had that White House phone line. And I think she was saying, John, it'll be fine. You can call me from work anytime. Would love to know your guys' thoughts on this, because honestly, I can't stop thinking about Helen and Hoynes. And God, just like, it's such a good scandal. Like, we've had some scandals in this show, but this is such a good scandal.
My only thing is, I think John Hoynes thought it was love.
Do you think? I don't think that.
I think he thought it was.
I think he thought she was in love with him. I don't think he was ever in love with her. I think that, again, she played it perfectly. This is a man who needs to feel like he is powerful. Like, I would do anything. I don't need you to leave, Suzanne. I just need you to love me. Wow.
Justice for Monica Lewinsky.
Justice for Monica. Rolling back to kind of present day, where we start our episode with Claire, mysterious Claire. I was like, wow, I forgot about Claire. The significance of why, of all the people in Hoynes' team, it was Claire that brought the letter of resignation.
I think that's just shortest straw.
Yeah, she's just the messenger. Oh, Claire.
I hope she gets a podcast one day, you know?
Yeah, I just hope that she gets kept on in some way. Shit way to lose your job, you know?
But also, I didn't even think about the fact that we will now need a new VP.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask a dumb question. Does someone get promoted into the role, or can we choose one?
We're going to get into that in the study session.
Stunning. Yeah, fantastic episode. I actually have not a single note that was perfection.
My one note is Stu Winkle. Stu Winkle was egregious.
Oh, yeah, but then also I'm kind of like, would I have been sad if his name had just been like Alan Brown? Probably.
It's just Winkle. Why did it have to be Winkle?
Winkle, which is kind of like a UK slang term for penis.
Yeah.
It's kind of what like a young child might refer to the penis as. Their winkle.
it's just upsetting.
I
to
don't
me.
know that Aaron would have known that. Because obviously a winkle is a type of seafood as well.
Oh dear God. Let's just get to best fashion.
Best fashion, Leigh.
Donna's terracotta or Blair spoon hour for me.
For me, I'm a Maggie girl through and through. It's got to be Margaret in red for me. What could a British or Irish politician never get away with?
Leaking government secrets to a gossip rag.
I just think being successful if you have a silly name. Like in the UK, Stu Winkle and Blair Spoonhour, they wouldn't be getting jobs because you just don't. You wouldn't be like, you would have changed your name by Deepool because school is hard if you've got a silly name in the UK.
Or you'd be on Made in Chelsea.
Yeah, or you'd be so posh that you like can't really function.
Yeah.
Queerest moment that never meant to be queer.
And CJ and Donna looking at the bird.
I'm going to vote for Lauren 2's haircut.
Oh my God, that's so true.
Because there's something very L-word going on there.
Yeah, true.
There was some product, there was some gel, we were sweeping across and there was some highlights. I feel that Lauren 2 has moved to Washington, D.C. And she has decided that she is going to go out to some bars and meet some women.
In 2026, she's a queer with a mullet, for sure. For sure.
Oh, and like loads of tiny tattoos.
Yeah.
Yeah. Best writerly moment.
The whole exchange between CJ and Joe Quincey, they're kind of flirtatious back and forth.
I'm the press secretary, boo-boo.
Yeah.
I don't have that kind of time.
Yeah.
100%. I have to make an honourable mention to Toby and the salad and I'm eating a salad, I'm doing it. Do I have to know the names? There's no difference between them. It's a bowl of weeds. Some of them have cheese. This isn't the kind with cheese. Does that answer your question? I adore him. Man, I feel like a man.
Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Vice President, if my multiple sclerosis was a bummer for your sex life.
I mean, that's just, you can't come back from that, can you?
And also, I don't practice law. I help write the laws. I write the laws. I make the laws. I am the law.
Very good. And then another honourable mention for me, for Toby, was we're not in the trenches.
Yeah.
Men need to remember that. And what was the moment that made you proudest to be an American?
Stu Winkle.
Co-signed. And just him being like, I have freelanced my butt off and I feel like I'm really getting there. And this phone call has kind of really cemented that I'm doing the right thing. Hang up.
I mean, it is the equivalent of like you or I getting a call from the head of the National Theatre. So like, I get it.
Yeah. Oh my God. 100%. And for that to be because she was mining him for information and didn't actually care about him is like heartbreaking for me. To the study session.
Okay. Does the name Spiro Agnew ring any bells for you?
It does.
Fiona?
Why?
I think.
Why do I know that name?
I think because, as you know, my lifelong love is Rachel Maddow.
Yes.
And she wrote a book and did a podcast about this man that I probably chatted your ear off about in circa 2019, 2020.
Yes.
We'll get into it. So, Spiro Agnew was elected the chief executive of Baltimore County in 1961. Then in 1967, he was elected the governor of Maryland. And he was governor until he was nominated as the Republican vice presidential candidate to a one Richard Nixon in 1968.
Yes.
He was chosen because he was a moderate governor from a border state with the South, and he supported civil rights, but he had also made tough on crime speeches.
Okay.
As a VP candidate, he was really tough, as mentioned, on law and order. He attacked opponents of the Vietnam War and excoriated liberals as disloyal and un-American.
Sounds kind of perfect for Richard Nixon, to be honest.
He was re-elected with Richard Nixon in 1972. Nixon had wanted to dump him from the ticket because he felt that Spiro Agnew didn't do anything, whereas Nixon famously had kind of redefined the VP role, as no one would again until Dick Cheney.
Wow, dark.
So dark. When he was vice president to Eisenhower, he had been the first vice president to really take on executive functions. And so he was expecting a lot from his vice president. Spiro Agnew was kind of more there for the vibes.
Good time guy.
Yeah. So obviously we know now that Nixon is secretly taping everything that happens in the Oval.
Which is still like one of those things where just like I'll find myself going about my day and then I'll be like, wow, he just put a tape recorder in there.
He really told on himself in the biggest way. One of his particular issues was a 1971 trip to Africa in a Oval Office meeting with John Eirichman and H.R. Handelman. They were discussing how he wanted to dump Spiro Agnew from the 1972 ticket because an of particular issue for Nixon was Spiro Agnew's constant golfing. Quote, constant golfing.
Look, there are presidents of the United States who have probably golfed maybe more than Spiro Agnew. That's all I'm going to say. Who
perhaps attended football World Cup matches instead of leading the country in an unjustified war.
I will, again, think endlessly about giving a short press briefing and then going, now watch this drive. I think I sometimes wake in the middle of the night and I think about how that actually happened.
I know.
Anyway, please continue.
But Nixon is heard on tape saying, you've got to make it clear this trip's for work, not over there on goddamn vacation. Jesus Christ, you know, when I went on these trips with my wife, we worked our butts off and it made an impression. He felt that Spiro Agnew was too buddy-buddy with the Secret Service, too undisciplined with his staff. For Nixon, this was a huge problem. He said, again, on the tapes, I mean, taking on the press is fine. Doing his political chores are fine. Alliteration's fine. But God damn it, if he can't run a staff, he cannot be in this office.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, tell us how you really feel.
But he had to keep Agnew. In the first term, although he'd really done nothing of substance, his attacks on the press and on liberals had kind of made Spiro Agnew a conservative darling. He coined the phrase radic libs to refer to liberal politicians. He'd referred to television news broadcasters as nattering nabobs of negativism.
Oh, this is why I know this guy, because he used alliteration all the time, right?
Yes, and hopeless, hysterical hypochondriacs of history.
Yes, yeah. We briefly did some history on Nixon for my history A level, and we did talk about Spiro Agnew, and it was just the fact that he was obsessed with alliteration.
Yes, he was obsessed with alliteration, particularly in his put-downs. He also said some newspapers are only fit to line the bottom of bird cages.
That's actually an amazing read.
And accused liberals of pusillanimous pussyfooting on the critical issue of law and order.
Wow, lots of words there. Big guy.
Nixon, meanwhile, had lost the right support during his first term because he reopened relations with communist China and supported liberal social and economic policies domestically. So he was being primaried from the right within the Republican Party. So he needed to keep Agnew on the ticket, even though he didn't want to the second time around. June 1973, the Watergate scandal is already brewing. Agnew schedules a meeting with Nixon to ask for more responsibility because he was hoping to run for president in 1976. Is this sounding familiar of a one John Hoynes?
Very interesting.
Nixon, however, is still pissed off with Spiro Agnew for just kind of golfing and having fun. And he is kind of delaying the meeting and complaining to his chief of staff, Al Haig, who will later cover himself in glory during the Watergate scandal, saying he is so parochial and selfish. He just wants to come in and whine, and darn it, I'm just not going to have any darn whining right now.
Emotional guy.
He was taping himself having these conversations.
Yeah, just like if you know you're going to kind of blow your top, maybe just don't press play.
Truly. Also, like, we're talking in analog, like the effort level of recording everything. Anyway, so Agnew, when he finally gets this meeting, brings up that there is this kind of small investigation happening in Maryland that seems to be gathering steam. But Nixon is consumed with the Watergate hearings. He's obviously totally paranoid and obsessed with it. And the Watergate hearings are not going well. So Agnew's trying to bring up what's happening in Maryland, but Nixon keeps reframing it. Everything he's saying about aggressive prosecutors and possible kickbacks and the criminalization of politics and the persecution of the Nixon administration, he keeps thinking he's talking in terms of Watergate. So again, we have this on tape. Agnew says, what I'm going to tell you about now is something entirely different to show you the lynch mob psychology that exists over there. And this thing they're calling a little Watergate. And this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Nixon replies, well, a little Watergate ought to be very small. What, you looked at Watergate and all that was involved? What was it? A crappy little thing. A crappy little thing. There's nothing there. They didn't get anything. It hurt us in the election. We would have got 3 or 4% more. What in the name of God is this all about?
Touchy, little bit touchy.
He's basically decided that whatever Spiro Agnew has going on in Maryland, it's just a bit of a nuisance. He's dealing with Watergate. He still is like, Watergate is a nothing. I'm going to get it sorted. It's not going to be a big deal.
Haha.
But of course, what unfolds is that less than a year, 10 months before Nixon himself will resign, his vice president, Spiro Agnew, will resign the same day that he pleads no contest to federal income tax evasion in exchange for having the charges of political corruption dropped.
Ooh.
So 2 minutes after he walks into the courtroom in Baltimore to plead no contest, the Secretary of State, Henry Kissinger, will receive, he's been alerted to be in his office, ready and waiting. He was delivered a letter signed by Agnew saying, and again, tell me if this sounds familiar, I hereby resign the office of Vice President of the United States effective immediately. Now, the basic issue of what's going on here is summarized by the, again, love of my life, Rachel Maddow, her longtime Rachel Maddow show producer, Mike Yarvitz, who helped her produce the Bagman podcast and the book that they wrote about this issue together. It was a scheme that he had concocted when he was a Baltimore County executive, where he realized that he had the power to award some local contracts for engineering and architecture, and that he could single-handedly decide who got the contract. He would arrange these local contractors, engineers, and architects that they would get the contract, and in return, they would kick back to him something in the order of 3 to 5% of whatever they were making off of the contract. And these were kickbacks that were delivered to him in cash, often in an envelope that was just brought to him and handed to him directly. It was a bribery and extortion scheme in which if you wanted to get a government contract in Maryland, you would have to have kickback money to Spiro Agnew. And it was brazen and it was delivered in cash.
That's completely mental. Like, the first time he did that, he must have been like, wow, that's so bad that I just got someone to give me an envelope of cash. I should never do that again. And then he just continued to do that.
And then he continued to do that as the governor of the state of Maryland. And then he continued to do that as the vice president of the United States. So the Justice Department uncovers widespread evidence of his political corruption, including allegations that he accepted bribes from construction companies while vice president and as governor of Maryland. The Speaker, Carl Albert of Oklahoma at the time, denied Spiro Agnew's request for an impeachment investigation into the charges. Agnew was basically hoping that if there was a House investigation, it would clear his name and then the criminal investigation would never take place. But after deliberating, the House Democratic leaders declined taking an impeachment case because they saw it as a matter before the court. He then, again, tell me if this sounds familiar, but this time of maybe current events, Spiro Agnew then tried to kill a grand jury investigation by arguing that a sitting vice president could not be indicted for a crime.
Interesting.
Now, where this gets interesting is that obviously not all of the Watergate tapes have been gone through and people pretty much know the contents of them as regards Watergate. But what was significant that Mike Yarvitz and Rachel Maddow did is they went through the Watergate tapes to understand more deeply what was actually happening with the Spiro Agnew scandal, because all of that was recorded as well.
Of course.
Basically, from listening to those tapes, they learned, quote, H.R. Haldeman and other White House officials tried to shut down this investigation that was being led by the U.S. Attorney in Maryland, a man named George Beall. And the way that Agnew tried to do it was by getting George Beall's brother, who was the sitting Republican senator from Maryland, named Glenn Beall. And what you hear in these tapes is this really elaborate plan that Spiro Agnew is discussing in the Oval Office with Richard Nixon and others to try to get this Republican senator behind the scenes and have him essentially get word to his brother to shut down the investigation. So what is the new information that we've learned through the book that Rachel Maddow did is that Nixon was fully in on trying to shut this down.
And the only reason we know that he was fully in on this is because he recorded everything.
Yeah. Someone else they enlist to try and shut it down is the Republican National Committee chairman and future president, George H.W. Bush.
Oh, wow.
Then the White House counsel, Fred Buzhardt, is on behalf of Nixon trying to initiate plea bargaining with Spiro Agnew's lawyers and the Attorney General, Elliot Richardson. Time magazine at the time summarized this by saying, from the outset, the overriding goal of Agnew's lawyers had been to keep their client from going to jail. Held in this huge red-carpeted room just outside Richardson's office, the bargaining sessions were long and heated, the men often shouting at each other as they maneuvered for a settlement. Even Richardson, a very proper Bostonian who normally kept himself under control, raised his voice several times and twice banged his fist down on the table. So that's Attorney General at the time, Elliot Richardson, who broke with the Nixon administration to prosecute, ultimately. Agnew is infuriated by these stories. He said there was not going to be any more negotiating. He decides that he's just going to try and get it shut down by hook or by crook. He tried to arouse popular support with like a public speech, but there wasn't the support to be got from the public for him. Frank Sinatra tried to support Spiro Agnew's legal defense fund because Spiro Agnew had defended Frank Sinatra from allegations of mob ties.
It really was a man's world, wasn't it?
It surely was. Finally, he resigns October 10th, 1973, and he's fined $10,000 and sentenced to 3 years probation and was disbarred.
I feel like he got off pretty lightly, to be honest.
But the reason why he got off lightly, so U.S. Attorney James R. Thompson of Chicago, who was brought in at the last minute by the Department of Justice to try and kind of like add to their firepower, said, I have never seen a stronger extortion case. If it had gone to trial, a conviction would have resulted. The man is a crook. The country is well rid of him.
Oh, what a sign off.
But Attorney General Elliot Richardson is well aware of what's happening with Watergate and the fact that Richard Nixon might himself be impeached.
Oh.
And obviously Spiro Agnew in that instance would then become the president of the United States. And a full criminal trial, because there was so much to get through, could have taken years. So this trial would not happen in time before Spiro Agnew potentially became president. And he himself then wouldn't have time to appoint a vice president for himself. So then you might get to a point where the next in line for the presidency, the Speaker of the House, might end up becoming president.
The president. Wow.
So Elliot Richardson's main goal
was get Spiro Agnew
was to get him out of the line of succession. Time magazine at the time basically summed up what happened in the courtroom by saying, after the long weeks of build-up, of insisting upon his innocence, of accusing government officials of plotting his downfall, of vowing that he would fight to the end, the denouement of the Spiro Agnew debacle came with a stunning swiftness. His hands trembling slightly and his Palm Springs tan bleached white with tension. Agnew walked into a Baltimore courtroom last week and admitted that he had falsified his income tax in 1967. When he emerged half an hour later, Agnew had been transformed from the Vice President of the United States into a convicted felon.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Yeah. So Agnew became only the second vice president in history to resign the office. And under the 25th Amendment, President Nixon was then instructed to fill the office of vice president by nominating a candidate who then has to be approved by both houses of Congress.
Ooh.
So I imagine that's what the process that we're going to see happen in the West Wing now.
Interesting. Oh, I bet there'll be some serious bargaining.
Obviously, Nixon appointed Gerald Ford, who was approved by Congress and ultimately became the 38th president of the United States when Nixon himself resigned over the Watergate affair. But ultimately, Agnew tried to pressure the US attorney in charge of the case to halt the investigation. It didn't work. Rachel Maddow has likened this to Donald Trump's reaction to the Robert Mueller report with reference to the Russian interference into the 2016 election. And speaking in 2019, Rachel Maddow said the parallels to what was going on in the Nixon and Agnew administration 45 years ago to the efforts of the Trump administration right now is uncanny. The Agnew story is really helpful to understanding the way the system works when it confronts bad behavior by people in high office. We are capable of dealing with that as a country in a way that makes us proud of the people who are in public office who are dealing with it. So I thought that was fascinating as regards this episode, Life on Mars.
Yeah. I mean, I feel all the better for learning more about Spiro and, you know, also learning about someone who has a name as insane as a Aaron Sorkin character.
It's so true.
Well, Leigh, this means that next week we're into the final 2 eps of the season.
Whoa.
The finale.
And I feel scared because I've received a welfare check from our patrons asking if I've watched 22 yet. And so I feel concerned about where this is going. I know that you have also received a welfare check from friend of the pod, our friend Charlie, who's been watching along with us and is slightly ahead of where we're at.
So we'll have to find out. So we'll meet up next week, Leigh. Let's do this again and debrief from what is likely to be an exciting... I think Leo's going to die.
Whoa.
I've been sitting on this for a while. I'm like, I think Leo McGarry is going to be gone next season.
Whoa.
Because when you think about like who's gonna... Like, who would turn around and be like, the thing is, if it's not Aaron's show, I've had a lovely time, but I think it's time to hang up my boots. There's something of John Spencer in that of being like, I'm an old school guy. I'll go out with the king. Thank you so much.
It's very kind of Mufasa and Simba.
Yeah, I just think, when you're like, I feel like John Spencer would have been like, I'm going to go and do some stage work for a while. Just kind of relax, maybe buy a boat. Just a classy guy.
Yes. I also feel worried about Toby because this whole season we've kind of had the arc of him becoming a father, and now I know that I need to be afraid of episode 22. I'm very aware that his ex-wife is on the brink of having twins, and that worries me. I know that I was wildly wrong that obviously Zoe was not shot a few episodes ago.
Yeah, of course.
But I feel we're placing some danger around Zoe.
We're really building up that Charlie like desperately wants to like profess his love to Zoe, and Zoe's like, we shouldn't be together. And I do feel like we're building up to some sort of moment where he's gonna be like, there were things I wanted to tell her.
Like a Romeo and Juliet type vibe.
Yeah. But which one of them it's going to happen to, I don't know.
No, I will not fathom the possibility of something happening to Charlie Young. I will not fathom it. I will not allow it.
I don't wish to live in a universe where that happens.
I live in comfort for the fact that I feel like CJ Cregg went through the ringer in last season's finale that I feel like really unfair. She will be granted a reprieve.
Yeah.
For season 4.
Which does kind of like nudge us to Toby, because he's the one like, Jed got shot, Josh got shot, CJ's lover got shot.
Charlie was the target originally for the shooting.
Sam Seaborn's no longer in the show. It's kind of leaving us with Toby.
Yeah. We've not really seen him we saw his brother potentially be lost in space, but him personally, we've not seen him have a finale centered around him.
And I mean, would I love to see Richard Schiff give like a finale performance with like a big arc? Fuck yeah.
I just don't know that I can take it after the homeless man and the coat.
No. It's too much for my poor weak heart. My nerves, Leigh, my nerves.
We'll get back next week. We might not be spiritually well. We're going to voice note live our responses to the last 2 episodes of the season for the patrons. So get involved with the Patreon if you want in on our inevitable emotional demise.
Blow by blow emotional demise. Leigh, where can people find us?
queergalswatch@gmail.com. Especially if you want to send us like, if you think there's a different way that we should look at things for the post Aaron Sorkin seasons, because we're going to get into planning for season 5 soon. Also, start sending us your questions and things that you'd like us to cover in our season 4 wrap-up episode there.
Yes.
And also on socials at Queer Gals Watch. And also, you guys, this is our first season where we have made it to episode 22 of the season. And we have thus far covered our costs from Patreon, which just feels like a huge achievement. So thank you all so much for everyone who supports us on there. We really appreciate it.
We really appreciate you guys helping us to do this, and the fact that you're enjoying it all so much and want to support us doing it. Like, I think it kind of deeply confuses Leigh and I and makes us both feel very emotional.
Yes. Also, Fee, I have some news. Next week is going to be our 100th episode.
I knew it was coming up.
Yes!
Oh my gosh. It's our centenary. Let's have a drink.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Well, I'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Best wishes. Bye.
Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why customers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
For a small business owner, every day is full of surprises. Some great, some not so great. Like when a client cancels their order at the last minute. But here's a surprise you will like. Progressive provides small business owners with 30 customizable coverage options to help keep their business going strong. So go ahead, surprise yourself. Get a quote in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates and third-party insurers. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and coverage selections.